So welcome to Blackstone LaunchPad pitch competition this year. We're very excited to be at Startup Grind main stage. I think this is main stage, this stage. And very excited to be here this year after coming out of COVID and several years of not having our conference or our pitch competition. This has just been quite an inspiring couple of days for all of us from Blackstone and our Blackstone LaunchPad campuses. So thanks so much for coming. And a special welcome to the students and the campus directors who are here today. Let's give them a round of applause. So just to give you 2 quick minutes, because we want to get to the students most importantly, you don't want to hear me speak, but Blackstone LaunchPad is on, right now today, is on 46 college campuses. And in the last 10 years, we've been having these incubators, for lack of a better word, on college campuses. And what we've learned over the last couple of years, importantly, and I think will resonate with most of you in the room, is that the Blackstone LaunchPad originally was intended to serve student entrepreneurs on campus who had an idea. And lo and behold, what did we realize? Stupid us, is that all college students should develop entrepreneurial skills, whether they have an idea or not. So last year, Blackstone made a $40 million commitment to expand to campuses around the country, ultimately in the next couple of years, bring it to 70 college campuses, and focused in the campuses that actually need this program and this support most, whose ecosystems need additional support, majority diverse population campuses. And so we're up to 46 today. Round of applause. And we'll be at 70 soon. And so it's really exciting. And we have a pitch competition every year. This year we had 130 applications of the most amazing companies that students put together. And we wish we could give prizes to all of them. But the 5 finalists, all of them winners, so let's give them a round of applause, are now going to pitch their companies to all of you. So please, without further ado, I'm just going to introduce, I have a little piece of cheat sheet here, my judges that I'm going to be one of. Kelly Burton, the Executive Director of Black Innovation Alliance. You want to raise your hand? Hey, Kelly, thanks for coming. The one and only Kelsey Davis, who's the founder and CEO of Collective, but also a Syracuse Blackstone LaunchPad alum. So one of our students who now has a successful venture. And last but not least is Christine Feng, my colleague from Blackstone, who's a senior managing director in Blackstone in the San Francisco office. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kate Wood, my colleague, who's going to give you the details. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Thanks so much, Amy, and welcome everyone to the Blackstone LaunchPad Startup Grind Pitch Competition. Reminder, each team will have 1 minute to pitch, followed by 5 to 7 minutes of Q&A from our esteemed panel of judges. And I'm excited to kick things off with our first student team, so please welcome, from Cornell University, Staff on Tap, founded by Kayla Foley. Woo!
Hi, everyone. I'm Kayla Foley, the founder of Staff on Tap. Staff on Tap is a digital marketplace connecting understaffed nursing homes and temporary nurses. There's a national shortage of nurses working in senior care, and these nursing homes are struggling to meet the new federal staffing levels. We have the all-star team to address the staffing crisis. We have serial entrepreneurs, experts in the field, and tech specialists. As the 3rd generation in my family business of nursing homes, I understand this problem deeply. Staff on Tap's marketplace provides quality nurses to nursing homes at a competitive fee. For our nurses, we offer pay for performance and flexibility. With the LaunchPad annual pitch competition, we can fully onboard 100 nurses and get 200 more in the pipeline. To date, in just 4 months, we've attracted over 130 nurse professionals and 82 nursing homes onto our minimum viable product. With the LaunchPad annual pitch competition, Staff on Tap can make a significant difference for our most vulnerable population. Thank you for listening, and I welcome any questions.
I'll start off. So tell me, how is it that you are going to, first of all, this is a great idea and you did a great job, so thank you. tell us a little bit about how are you going to market this? So you're going to just go direct to the nursing homes? A little bit about what's your strategy of marketing in what period of time?
Sure. So for our nursing home partners, we have 82 right now. We just initiated a soft launch in March with 22 of those partners to start collecting data, testing processes. But so I'm very ingrained in the nursing home industry. I've been in it pretty much my whole life. And so getting those partners was relatively easy. They're all really excited to work with us. For our nurses, we're leveraging platforms like Indeed, LinkedIn Jobs, social media, lots of cold calls. And our nurses are attracted to us because we empower them to self-manage. They get to set their own rates, schedules, and locations. And so right now, we're hoping for year one, we want to reach 420 nurses. So we're currently at 130 on our platform. Thank you.
Awesome. What does your matching strategy look like, right? When you have marketplace, obviously some supply demand around, okay, you have the nurses. How do you then actually match them with the needs? And how do those needs vary? And just like, what does the need creation look like for the user journey?
Mm-hmm. So that's why we're starting with nursing homes so that we can find those right nurses. We didn't want to expand too quickly to assisted livings and home care, for example. But our nurses, they put their entire profiles on the platform. So they have any certifications they've had, past reviews from when they've been in other nursing homes and their experience. And then the nursing home goes on and can review their profile, review all this information about them, and decide if they're the right fit. So for example, if this nursing home really needs someone who has dementia training, they would be able to see that. So we pretty much just connect directly the nursing home and the nurses. We take out the middleman of the staffing agency.
So I'm curious. COVID has really disrupted the nursing industry. And I'd love to know how you factored that into your business model.
Yeah, we actually came at a good time. So during COVID, as many of you know, the nursing homes were really struggling for staff. A lot of people were getting sick and we were often short-staffed. And that was hard on the staffing agencies at the time because one nurse had to go to multiple facilities and we didn't have the PPE then. It was really difficult. At this point, it's been figured out. We have the PPE, we have the protocols, and the nursing homes are used to it. So we actually came in at a really good time when the nursing homes are used to having these temp nurses and how to control those protocols, including vaccination requirements and testing.
A marketplace startup is certainly really interesting and can scale really quickly. I'm wondering how you think about keeping the nurses on the platform. I'd imagine if they're successful, they find a place that they like working, that meets all of their criteria, they can set their wages. What if that nursing home then says, we'll pay you, double and come work for us exclusively? Probably a good outcome for your customer, right? But maybe not such a good outcome for your business.
We factored that into our contract, so the nursing home will have to buy out the nurse. That's pretty standard for staffing agencies. However, if this nurse wants to work in the nursing home full time, that's great. Our mission is to improve the staffing in nursing homes, so we actually don't poach any of their nurses. We bring nurses from outside of the industry, such as hospitals and other healthcare areas, and we have a paid training program. So we're drawing new nurses into the industry, and if they want to stay in senior care, then that's great. That's part of our mission. But we do have in our contract that they'll have to buy them out.
How do you, especially with that model, get predictable revenue from the nursing homes or the employers that are paying for it, right? So what is is it a subscription model? Who's the buyer, and how do you make money in that process?
Yeah, right now we're working with a flat fee. So it's a flat fee for every booking that they have. We had played with percentages. However, we work with nurses' aides, licensed practical nurses, and registered nurses, all who have different rates. And it costs us the same amount to onboard these nurses. And so we decided to do a flat fee so that we didn't try to only get these nurses that are putting on the highest rates, because all of the above is needed in the nursing home desperately. So we do have a flat fee every time the booking is booked.
So quick question. What you've been obviously bootstrapping, I assume. What are you spending your money on? And if you won the pitch competition, what would you use that money for?
The biggest expense is onboarding the nurses. We don't have to do this, but we want to make sure that we have quality assurance for the nursing homes and mitigate any risk. So we're doing background checks, drug tests, training if it's needed, making sure every vaccine and physicals are up to date. And so that's where the expense is. We're also requiring all of our nurses to have malpractice insurance. That also isn't required by other staffing agencies, but it protects our nurses and it protects our nursing homes. And so that's where this money would go. We could fully onboard 100 of these nurses to get all of those requirements requirements done, and then get 200 more in the pipeline. So attract 200 more from Indeed and LinkedIn jobs and cold calls.
Follow-up, just one quick
go
follow-up.
ahead.
So in other words, you're using, this is sort of a pilot, this 150 or whatever that you're going to try to onboard, right? So you need the money for the pilot, and then you'll be revenue positive, is that right?
So we're generating revenues right now. We're in a soft launch, and we have a couple of our nurses working in the nursing homes, and we are charging the nursing homes. So we are generating revenue, but this money would go to bring more nurses on. So we could get, right now we have about 7 that are fully onboarded, and we could get 100. So that would help us scale really quickly.
What does your team look like?
Yeah, our team is myself. I'm the CEO and founder. I'm a previous licensed nursing home administrator, and that's kind of my domain. Our chief HR officer, Nancy Brown, is a previous co-founder of multiple healthcare startups in nursing homes, and so she has that experience. And our chief tech officer just joined us last week. He is web and app development with lots of experience at HubSpot. We also have a plethora of advisors and mentors from the Cornell University. And so we have a very diverse group of skill sets that allows us to be innovative and cutting edge while still understanding the inner workings of the nursing home. We know their culture, their opportunities, and their barriers.
Is this thing on? Amazing. Kayla, thank you for starting us off strong. That's awesome. Thank you, judges. Next up, please welcome New Life Kicks from College of Southern Nevada, followed by husband and wife team, Akeem and Marquis Anifawashi. And I think I nailed their last name. Good job, guys.
If you have feet, most likely you invest in shoes to protect them. Today, sneakers have become luxury items. They're more expensive and they're harder to get.
And the aftermarket price can range anywhere from 200 to 1,000%.
So what do you do when your luxury sneakers get dirty? Would you throw your 3-piece suit inside of the washing machine?
The problem is the leading sneaker care products on the market are a linear concentrated solution that are inclined to damage your luxury materials.
With my background in chemistry, I have chemically engineered eco-friendly solutions for specific materials. They're called new shoe elements. I've also composed an educational curriculum to power the modern-day cobbler industry.
The sneaker industry is trending to hit $530 billion by 2027. In 2019, the U.S. alone spent $91 billion on sneakers. With a 300% sales growth each year, our company has proven traction in all 50 states and in Europe, Asia, and Africa. By expanding our consumer base from D2C to B2B, we believe we can scale our business to $10 million by 2025.
The Blackstone LaunchPad pitch competition can help us patent our proprietary technology, launch new products, expand and advertise globally through various sales channels such as Amazon, eBay, and other social media platforms. New Life is more than sneaker care.
New Life is Shoe Life.
Okay, I'll take the first question. I'm probably the oldest person in the room. I do have a lot of sneakers, but I read your deck as a judge several times. You have really 2 products. You have, or not 2 products, but you have sort of the things that will clean your sneakers as well as materials to sort of repair your sneakers. Is that true?
Yes, we have a line of sneaker care products which include Just Suede, which is first aid for suede. You can clean your suede without the use of tap water. We also have the new Antidote, which is a cleaner and oxidation reversal solution. And we also have some proprietary technology that we have not released yet, but this is going to be technology integrated into sneaker care that's going to continue to evolve the industry in the way that we maintain our kicks.
And then you also have like a training program for
as well.
Okay.
Yes, that's
So I was just trying to think.
New Life University. This is where we're going to be educating and pioneering the new evolved culture of sneaker care. In a sense, cobblering has evolved into sneaker care, and the cobblers, they are not as advanced and as skilled as in repairing sneakers. And with my 10 years of experience in the industry, I have gained enough knowledge and experience to now educate and pioneer the.
Okay, so my
Yeah.
quick question on that is, is that gonna be a course? Is that something that you're gonna?
Yes, that is
it's gonna
a
be
that is a
course
live
that
course.
someone will pay for? It's a
Yes,
revenue?
people have already been enrolled in our course, paid for our course, and having success now. We've already launched 3 businesses, helped launch 3 businesses over the course of last year, and we have various testimonials from individuals using our products to provide second incomes and young kids in high school who are using our products to make extra money, for themselves.
Sorry, but to expound on the digital platform, when we did our live courses, we recognized that we were creating exponential growth for some of these businesses live in person, and we recognized the demand over our Instagram, which is our main source of traction. And we want to put it inside of a digital platform. That way we can make it easily accessible, because we have markets from India and China and in the UK that right now, especially with COVID going on, we can't necessarily travel. So digitalizing it into a platform will help us reach a lot more businesses.
It sounds like you've actually scaled quite a bit. Help me understand who you're targeting. You're targeting people who want to become entrepreneurs, or cobblers who are trying to innovate, or high school students looking for their next gig. It's a wide array. How are you targeting that? Not only for the products you're selling, but also the training program.
So our main original focus was direct to consumer, which was anybody who pretty much wears shoes, which if hopefully it's cold outside, everybody's wearing shoes. So our original strategy was to market on our social media, kind of utilize social media campaigns and those kind of things to reach everyday consumers. But we really quickly realized the more on our, because we use our Instagram as feedback, we recognized that especially during COVID, there was a lot of people who started generating profits from our products. So now we're focusing more on our main clientele, which are the smaller businesses. They tend to have a much larger ticket as well too. Shopping with us, our return rate is at 35% for this year to date, which is awesome. So we're trying to strategize more on helping the businesses by providing more training, and as well as creating an affiliate program. We have onboarded 50 affiliates in our affiliate program to offer wholesale deals in exchange for cross promotion, and it also lowers their product costs too in their businesses.
So simultaneously working on D2C and B2B.
You talked about there's a $91 billion market on shoes, sneakers. I believe that. I'm a huge sneakerhead. But I'm curious, what's the percentage of luxury sneaker buyers? And then also to the question of who's buying the product, are you specifically looking at kind of this hype beast culture of sneakerheads who are willing to invest in sneaker care products, because if they're spending $500 on shoes, I'm willing to probably invest at least $100 on care for a variety of shoes. Is that the main clientele? Also, you're talking about suede. There can be a whole nother type of market that's not, hypebeast sneaker culture, in which you're also selling to. So how do you think about, who the customer is in that way?
In a sense, our customers are anyone who wants to maintain their footwear. Our products are safe for luxury materials, authentic animal hides, and we directly contact or reach those customers through our social media platform. Our products have become assets to those who invest in luxury footwear because these products build the confidence, and they're more efficient than what's on the market. Currently, the products on the market are more so like a one-size-fits-all, and with our specific product solutions for the specific materials, they're able to protect the integrity, so it creates a more efficient cleaning process. So we recently just had a partnership with Neiman Marcus, and we are working on getting our products in actual luxury sneaker retailers, and as well as consignment shops at major sneaker retailers such as Foot Locker, Chic, and other large sneaker retailers as well.
Sorry, I wanted to say. In the sneaker restoration realm, we've been servicing over the last 10 years. Hakeem is the sneaker restorer. They call him the Revive King. And so in most of the sneaker restoration stores, we attract a lot of higher-end clientele. A lot of our clients specifically, they give us shoes that they cost about $9,000 to $30,000. So when you have investments that are that large, you don't necessarily take your high-end luxury clothing items and throw them in the washing machine. So we consider like the restorations more of like a dry cleaning for sneakers. And with those kind of companies popping up all throughout the United States and essentially globally, we're trying to target with our product line the actual restoration companies, because we recognize that any other cleaners on the market can potentially damage your shoes. And in this line of work, nobody wants to pay $10,000 for damaging their investments.
Yeah.
So I first want to shout out your demo. The first thing I did is looked at your shoes, right? But I saw the dirty one first, and I'm like, how could you not clean your shoes before the pitch? And it took me a minute, like, oh no, but there's a clean one too.
It's a creative way to integrate some props.
So for the folks who are a little slow, you may want to close out the pitch like, check it out. Here's how it works. Because I was a little stuck. But as a person whose husband literally like cleans shoes on the weekend, I absolutely see the need for this as a hobby. So I think that's great. Can you talk a little bit about your supply chain? What does it take to produce it, and what do your distribution channels look like?
Everything is manufactured in-house. We keep our costs low because I formulate the solution, and we also manufacture everything in-house. Distribution channels, we are working to get our products on Amazon. We also have our products in 4 stores locally, and we are also working to get our products integrated into, again, the sneaker consignment shops and the major sneaker retailer distributors.
I do want to clarify, though, a lot of our packaging is manufactured overseas. In the beginning, we only had 2 SKUs, so it was very easy to just kind of retrieve these. But over time, especially through the last 3 years, we have now 14 SKUs. But we have great relations overseas with some of the forwarders, so we haven't experienced any kind of like chain disruptions or anything like that. They're pretty on target. We kind of scale out 90 days in our inventory to make sure that we have sustainability inside of our products. And then the second part to your question, could you repeat that? Sorry.
Supply chain.
Yeah, the produce and distribution channels.
We are currently selling only on our e-commerce platform. We do have our products available on Instagram and through other social media platforms. When we actually get back on Wednesday, tomorrow, we will be working on launching our products on Amazon, which will be a huge way to distribute our products. We plan on going in the fulfillment center. Currently, we're at a 92% profit margin for our products. So whatever Amazon takes around, we guesstimate about 20%, we should still be able to maintain that high profit margin.
Yeah. And also just attract more international clientele, because right now there's that gap with that large cost in shipping that Amazon is going to help minimize for our consumers.
Okay, Kate is coming on stage. One quick question. Hold back. Just one quick question. Give me one sentence answer. You guys have a lot of traction and you have revenue. You're super sophisticated. So what do you need this money for? Is it just to check off the box that you want another competition, or do you actually?
Absolutely
I don't mean
not.
that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I don't mean that as a criticism. I'm just saying, what would you do with this money? Is it?
What we would do in the last part of our pitch, we want to patent our proprietary technology. We have some unreleased products. There's still so much room in the market to expand, and I have products that will revolutionize, continue to evolve the way that people maintain kicks, as well as produce these products. We want to patent these products, and we want to be able to distribute our products and make them more easily accessible. So in cases of landing large accounts, we need to have that inventory available to be able to supply the global demand that we intend to continue to grow.
Sorry, I just have
Expound,
one more before you kick me off. Our long-term goal, we are very big on philanthropy. We do have a nonprofit as well. We recognize that sneakers, a lot of people throw them away, but why throw them away when you can recycle them back into your community? So we developed a nonprofit called Souls for Souls, and our long-term goal is to, well, we do have different donation campaigns. Last month, we actually partnered with Nike in a store called Feature in Las Vegas, and we've donated back 1,000 pairs of shoes over the last 2 years. COVID was kind of weird, so it was a little bit challenging, but our long-term goal is to use our current facility to teach young entrepreneurs the restoration trade, entrepreneur skills, and just continue to give back those shoes inside of our community. Thank you.
That was awesome. Glad I did not cut them short. I love that answer. This is awesome energy in the room, you guys. Thank you so much. I want to bring up quickly our next student team. Joining us on stage will be Mindsets and Milestones from UCLA, founded by DeAndrea Taylor.
Left it on. Okay. Listen to this. 30% of high school girls with a 4.0 GPA don't believe they're smart enough to achieve their dream career. It's clear A+s aren't enough. What girls need is an entrepreneurial mindset. In fact, most schools and teachers agree that this is a critical 21st century skill set, and the schools want to offer it, but they lack teachers with entrepreneurial expertise. And with the digital education spend at over $200 billion annually, the solution needs to meet growing online demand. Mindset and Milestones addresses these needs. For $39 monthly or $400 annually, teachers receive access to our online platform of curriculum modules, activities, and resources to implement entrepreneurial learning without any prior experience. We leverage existing staff to scale entrepreneurship education equitably without charging thousands like our competition. As an education PhD student and teacher myself, I have the expertise to get the job done. And with the support of my advisors, I've already impacted over 700 girls at no cost to them, and our schools and organizations are ready to get started. We're just ready for scale. Thank you.
I have a question for you. So there's a lot of leadership stuff out there. There's programs, there's all kinds of content, curriculums, et cetera. You could just go online and pick out of thousands. So how do you validate, where are you getting yours? I mean, obviously you're developing it and sourcing it, but how are you validating it and with whom?
That is an excellent question for a couple of reasons I'll share. One, leadership curriculum is something that a lot of the schools are interested in, but the problem is that it's not grounded in anything concrete, and so the students, particularly in the K-12 level, which we're targeting middle and high school, have a really difficult time being engaged and actually grasping what they're supposed to be learning because the context is so abstract. So with entrepreneurship, it allows them to really sit with something that they're interested in, and they actually drive the curricular process because they're learning the skills, the principal ideas of entrepreneurship, but through something that they choose. And with that, we also incorporate a lot of social emotional learning, or SEL for any of the educators in the room. And with that focus, a lot of our educators are really excited because it's something that a lot of research has validated as being important to student success and maturity and development and decision-making skills. But as similar ways to leadership, it's not grounded in anything particular. So our curriculum has both SEL components and also leadership that allows students to pursue something they're interested in and develop confidence in concrete ways.
I love the product and the concept. Who, I'm curious, is like incentivized to pay for that $39 a month? Especially as a teacher, I'm assuming you don't want to pay for that. Even though you want your students to be successful and to grow in their leadership skills. Also then thinking about like, you know, superintendents at schools, like, yes, that makes sense if maybe there's a direct parallel to like a KPI of college readiness or, you know, vocational learning or something like that. And so that's why you can make the cause for like entrepreneurship. But yeah, and then is it the parents, like, how do you think about the buyer in that context?
So we actually made this decision very intentionally based on what was already available in the market. One of our competitors charges $800 per girl for a 5 or 10 week course that is self-guided and they have to do independently. So our mission was really to focus on finding a way to make sure that schools could afford this, but we didn't have to charge girls anything to do it. That said, we're also filling a very particular pain point. As a teacher, I know that there's a lot of requirements to submit lesson plans, to tell the administration exactly what I'm doing at all times. And so my curriculum makes it so the teacher actually can fulfill that requirement to their institutions pretty quickly. And at that level, it also makes sure that the schools find value in paying for it. So one of our partners right now is a private school, for example. They have a lot of discretionary funds at the department level. But then if we think about public schools, there's definitely incentive at larger district levels to disseminate something like this. So we have someone we're in conversation with right now that leads as actually an SEL specialist for a co-op of 45 school districts. This person's job is to make sure that schools have access to things like mine that make social emotional learning accessible without forcing the teachers to build it. And because that's a priority for the district and for this co-op, that's something they're interested in paying for that doesn't come out of their teachers' pockets and also doesn't come out of our parents' pockets.
What's been your success or experience in selling to the districts? And like, what's that buying cycle like with selling to the schools themselves directly?
So I'm currently in that negotiation process right now, and I've learned a lot thus far related to contracts, also just keeping them simple. That was counterintuitive to my information, but made perfect sense because they're already dealing with so much. And so the process really seems to be that if you can communicate how this saves them time and money, and also allows their teachers to do more teaching and less planning for teaching, then it makes them feel like the dollars that they're spending on their teachers are actually being put to good use. So I feel like the sense I've received from them is as long as you have a system that's ready to go, which we do have, they can go directly on our website and sign up as many teachers as they want if they have 2 or 3, or they can talk to us directly, and if they have 400 or 500 teachers, I can create those for them individually, and then all their teachers will have to do is receive the logins that I provide for them. So I figured out how to make the process really streamlined and easy for them to say yes.
How do you measure success? How do you know that your program is working? I think it's a great idea, but it probably ties back a bit with your pitch, but I don't think you would say, hey, it's easy to onboard, therefore this program is a success, right? So are there KPIs that you're tracking, or as you think about, these lifetime, kind of the lifetime evolution of the girls themselves? Like, how do you think about that?
Yeah, so it's a really complicated question. As a researcher, I've thought about this a lot, particularly because my focus is on education research. So I've looked at the ways that you can search or look for information on something like this longitudinally. The difficulty with learning in particular is that we don't actually know when the learning took place, unfortunately. So what we typically do in terms of testing information is, one, we see how many of them actually finish this program with an idea that they're satisfied with, because that's a really great indicator that they're actually going to move forward with either pursuing the idea, which is not our key measure of interest, but really that they believe that they can move forward with something, because that ties back to our original problem. It's not about making girls business owners. It's about helping them understand that they can do whatever they want to do, but having that ability is something that needs to be practiced and needs to be practiced concretely. So we talk through and ask them a lot of questions in terms of output surveys on their satisfaction with their ideas, on the amount of things they've learned, and we also do information checks as well so that they understand what is a minimum viable product and how do you test an idea, and sort of check that they understand the main principles. And at that point, we've done what we can, and then our goal is to follow up with them in the future to see what kinds of careers they've landed into, what kinds of leadership roles they've taken on, if they've increased in the number of leadership positions, and all of that information will give us a longitudinal set in the next 3 to 5 years about exactly what the impact is, but most immediately we have those checks.
Hello? Okay. I love it. I think it's absolutely necessary, 100%. 2 things. I'm curious about the extent to which you've considered niching down on a type of school, because there's a lot of distance between working with private schools and public schools. Yeah. Working with public school districts is an easy way to age very quickly. It's very trauma-inducing as a person who's been there and done that. So I'm curious about kind of the conversation you've had internally about niching down on your type of school. And I'm also curious about the customer. I'm wondering who is most incentivized to purchase this. And I'm curious if you've thought about the parent. Yes. Because I think about, as a parent, how much I am willing to spend to get children out of my house during the summertime. Like, there's almost no amount of money that I will not spend to give them a quality experience. I'm exaggerating, but seriously, when I think about the school district, the teacher, the parent, who is most likely to deliver, like come through as a real customer, in my mind, it is the parent. And I understand that everyone's parent does not have the financial capacity to show up in that way, but I'm just curious about how you've landed at your current customer.
I know we're out of time, but I can answer this pretty quickly. First part of your question, I've thought a lot about whether public or private schools. In terms of a customer, private schools are definitely the best way to go because they're the easiest, because they have so much autonomy. However, it doesn't really allow me to serve my mission to only do private schools, but private schools are a great way for me to make sure that my revenue is recurring while I have those longer sales cycles with the other institutions, public schools, districts, because there's a lot more communication versus many of the private schools I've worked with. They pretty much function on their own. They'll go on my site, they will subscribe, and then they don't really need me. So that's been allowed to sort of function pretty well. On the side of parents and summer camps, for example, we've had offers from multiple organizations who actually do put on summer camps. Those have been halted because largely the pandemic, but many of those are planning to pick up this year, and they do plan to purchase licenses that they can use to use our curriculum to teach their summer camps, but we get to hold off on the liability issue of running these camps ourselves and still sort of do what we do best, which is provide curriculum so that people can do what they do best. Thank you so much.
Awesome job, DeAndrea. Next up, we have Banzai from UT Dallas, founded by Shashank Kumar. Welcome to the stage.
One of the biggest factors customers use to gauge if they use a certain business is the quality of their customer support and engagement. But oftentimes, it can take customer service representatives an absurd amount of time to find answers to even the simplest questions, as they aren't equipped with the adequate knowledge to help. Banzai elevates any customer service system by resolving tickets faster with cutting-edge AI-powered assistance. Imagine an automated Google search that looks through your entire company's knowledge base to find the right answers automatically, taking a 20-minute ticket down to 20 seconds. Banzai is disrupting the $20 billion customer engagement industry and currently has partnerships with leading CRMs. We've successfully partnered and been able to onboard 15 paying customers, as well as been able to raise $200,000 in pre-seed. Our team has previous machine learning research experience from MIT's Lincoln Laboratory, as well as Cornell, and an amazing group of advisors with decades of startup experience. Currently, we're trying to quickly grow Banzai, as well as scale in both the customer engagement industries, as well as both internally within a company. We recently awarded first place at Disrupt Texas, as well as the Big Idea competition and CMU's venture competition. We are currently growing at a quick pace, and we're excited to have you guys along for the ride. Join Banzai and help us revolutionize customer engagement.
I think you're addressing a really important issue. Only because I have worked at places like Microsoft and Amazon, I think the argument there is those big tech companies will have access to more data than startups will. Therefore, their AI algorithms will tend to be better. How do you think about competing with large tech companies?
Yeah, so we really see two different kind of areas in which we're targeting. One of them being more high-growth startups, and another one being more enterprise-level companies. So with more high-growth startups, what we've been able to realize is that they spend a lot of resources towards kind of development and sales, and sometimes customer support is kind of overlooked until it might be too late. And so that's where we're really able to make a great impact, as well as the more enterprise-level side. A lot of the current solutions out there require a lot of kind of manual hard coding for specific questions and answers, meaning that if this specific question is come up, then put this answer. What we're able to do is look through a company's unstructured data sources, so that could be videos or articles or blog posts, and automatically find the answers for a customer's question within those different areas. And to touch a little bit more about defensibility, so as we're growing, we're able to learn off of past ticket data with our transfer learning models. And so as we gain more customers and as we rapidly grow, we're able to kind of leverage that.
Love this product. As a startup founder myself, I'm just thinking about what you're saying on the direct-to-consumer, high-growth, high-scale startups who deprioritize the idea of how do we create super automated ways for customer support, because our main goals are driving like acquisition and all right, we'll figure out retention along the way. And I think a lot of times customer support can be overlooked in that process. And I think just a easy on-demand, you pay monthly for this ability to just have a scalable way that you're solving tickets, I think is super, super smart. To that point though, how do you onboard companies based on their current knowledge base? To your point, higher like enterprise tech companies are already gonna have internal ways of how they solve for this. And predictively, it's just going to be a better product than what you can kind of invest in at this stage. But for the direct-to-consumer companies, that makes sense. But I see like an education that has to happen in terms of how you are also getting their knowledge base to a point where your product can actually, scrape that data in a way that's productive for them. And I could see that being a very tedious process per company to where you're having to really do an education, onboarding, extensive process per company for the AI to actually work. So what is onboarding like? And how scalable is this product across the range based on the stage of where the company's at?
Great question. Yeah. So compared to the competition, that's what they're required to do. They're required to do a lot of a lot of education about what type of specific data sources can I put in there. Everything needs to be like a PDF, and everything needs to be formatted correctly. But with our solution, you're able to take a variety of different sources, like maybe YouTube videos, blogs, and we're able to automatically parse through that information so that all you have to do is really just drag and drop the different knowledge sources, and we can find those answers within there. And additionally, another thing that we've really seen, especially with kind of high growth startups, is not only the customer engagement side, but also internally within companies. And so currently with the Air Force, we're working on a $1.1 million grant with them, in which we're going to be able to integrate within their different teams and automatically answer questions. So for example, like policy questions or legal questions, recruitment questions, different things like that. And we see that scaling towards enterprise level companies as well.
So as you're talking, I love your pitch. And as you're talking, I couldn't help but think about those bots, right? That you go and you ask a question and it says, did we answer your question? You're like, no. And then it's like a conditional answer tree. Well, how about now? Did we answer your question? And by the third, did we answer your question? I want to throw my laptop out of the window, right? So I'm so curious about how your product makes it like a kinder, gentler, automated experience.
Great question. So we see Banzai as a human-centric company. And what this means is, even though we're an artificial intelligence company, at the core, we want to humanize our approach as well as our answers of how we are generating these artificial intelligence-based answers. A lot of the time, you'll just find a bot that will kind of come in there and say, hey, okay, does this answer your question? Yes or no, right? What we're able to do differently is we're able to take that one step further and say, okay, would you like a refund for this? Okay, we can create an automized process for that refund. So for example, route that directly to this department. And then from there, process that refund. So now it's just not a simple yes or no, but it's a, can we follow up with that, just like a human would?
I noticed in some of your pitch materials that you're actually charging what I thought was a pretty high price. How do you think about that? And just for, kind of, just to calibrate, right? I don't know how much I pay for Spotify, $8 a month maybe? And Office 365 is also, I think, cheaper than what you were flagging. Like, how did you come up with that, and how do you think about pitching that to your customers?
Yeah, so it kind of depends. So the pricing structure that we use is really based off of usage. So it's kind of dependent upon the amount of Banzai requests they're using for like their different questions, as well as the size of their knowledge base. And so what we see as kind of the minimum for a lot of these companies is about our business plan, which is our mid-tier, for about $150 per month per seat. And then as we kind of scale from that, about $1,200 per month per seat. And when you kind of see the return on investment there, right? For the average customer service employee, you're paying about $60,000 per year as a salary. And we're able to provide a return on investment of about 30%. We're able to generate about 30% more productivity. And so that's about $1,800 in value. But when you actually look at like the metrics, we're able to provide about a 10x return on investment from our pricing. So even though the pricing seems a little maybe on the higher end, at the end of the day, when you look at the return on investment they're able to provide, it really does make the value seem good.
Very quick last question, because I see Kate creeping up the stairs. Your revenue. You seem in your pitch you have a lot of clients already. You just mentioned your deal with the the Air Force. What's the status of your company right now?
Yep, so about 2 months ago, we finished up our beta trial, and then we kind of launched publicly. So right now, we have about 15 companies in the pipeline, and have been able to generate revenue from those companies, as well as we're currently working with the Air Force in order to kind of finalize the grant for that. And so with those companies, what we've been able to see is they range from all sorts of industries, which we found really exciting. Like just the other day, we were at a meeting with a construction company who gets questions about like, can you guys help me with this, like with building this, or do you guys have these specific materials, right? And we also have like insurance, SaaS-related companies, as well as another key sector that we've seen with high growth is education. So companies like Chegg, as well as more like Coursera, that have a lot of customer-facing kind of questions.
If I can ask, what are the main industry verticals that you're seeing that are finding like the most scalable value of solving tickets in this way? And then is it also these are like, are you dealing with, product managers? Are you dealing with the sales representatives or the customer representatives directly? Where within the company internally do you see the highest like frequency of repeatable needs for external ticket solving?
Great question. So we see 3 different verticals right now that are highest growing, being fintech, SaaS, as well as insurance. And so we mainly work with the customer success managers within those companies because we not only do customer service, but also sales as well. We can help answer sales questions. So that's where we really see the value, and that's where we kind of partner with at that level within the companies. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Awesome job, Shashank. You guys, judges, making it hard for me. Last but certainly not least, we have Spora. Spora is from UC Santa Cruz, founded by Andrea Paz Lacavex. Please welcome Andrea.
Picture this. A quarter of coastal resources gone because of human intervention. This is happening right now in an ecosystem often compared to tropical forests. We just don't see it, all the damage to the ocean, the fish, and the fishers. I'm talking about the severe decline of kelp forests, threatening thousands of jobs. This is why I founded Spora, a deep tech solution for a deeply rooted problem, which is kelp disappearance. Our current mission is to provide green gravel to fishing communities, organizations, and governments. Green gravel is a revolutionary kelp reforestation method, and what we do is take tiny kelp spores and place them in small rocks. After 8 weeks, the little teen kelps are ready to be handed off to our clients to throw into the ocean. Yeah, throw into the ocean, and that's it. A new restored kelp forest could be on its way. With an estimated cost of $10 per square meter and a multi-sectoral network of allies, we aim to jumpstart and future-proof kelp forests in an accessible way so that anybody can see their own kelp forest. Thank you very much.
So one of the things in your deck that was unclear to me is there a demand? Do you have clients already that would pay for this? Or is this a not-for-profit effort?
We have the hybrid method. Right now, we already have fishing communities in Baja California, our first pilot in Mexico. They're interested in our product. They have a need, they see a decline in their fisheries, and they want to invest in this right now. We are already offering the training, and we're also being demanded by the government. There is an interest in pursuing a kelp program restoration for Baja California. And the cool thing about Spora here there in Baja California, 12 hours from here, is that it's creating a model that can be replicated in other regions of the world with different species, but with the same concept. Tiny kelp in rocks thrown to the ocean, trying to solve a problem that is in 20% of our world's coasts.
Question, what is the scalable or like the trackable impact of what happens should this problem be solved in these regional markets, right? Like, what is the growth within that ecosystem? How does then the driving growth of fishers' ability to do their job, like the commercial landscape of now, how that rises commercialization, like what is the commercial, I guess, benefit regionally and just based on the ecosystem of if you solve for this locally across the coast in these specific neighborhoods, how does that add market value to the ecosystem?
Yeah, right now we're speaking about giant kelp, one single species, with an estimated revenue of $65 per square meter with an investment of $10 per square meter. But with other species, it can go all the way to $120 per square meter just by fisheries income. But we're not speaking about other environmental services that kelp provides, such as carbon sequestration. This provides an opportunity for communities to diversify their income through carbon credits markets. We're also talking about kelp being a buffer for increasing marine heat waves, and that causes coastal erosion. And also, Spora provides an opportunity for our clients to add a premium to their products, stating that they are supporting the resilience of coastal communities through climate change adaptation.
I had a quick clarifying question. I think Amy asked this, but I might have missed it. There's clearly a lot of people who benefit, including those communities and all the citizens of those communities, right? In addition to just the fishing communities. And then you had said the government as well. But who's willing to pay? Or in other words, how do I think about willingness to pay for something that is presumably a common good?
Yeah, willingness to pay. As I shared, the fishing communities are already investing in adapting their laboratory facilities to culture their own green gravel through our assistance as Spora. but also the governments. There's, for example, a program called Seeding Life that is usually for earth forests. And we're trying to promote that communities can get these governmental incentives to seed their own underwater forests. And as well as companies that are benefiting from increasing amounts of fisheries such as lobster, uni, abalone, and many species of fish. So they're interested in maintaining the habitat, the food, and the refuge that kelp provide for their fisheries.
How does that pricing model work? They're individually paying for, like, based on square footage, where they would want you to address?
Yeah, we're providing the ring gravel. We're showing where to seed it based on reef availability. We need underwater reef, like made of rocks, to seed it, and that the rocks hold into the reef. And we're also providing and thinking about in the near future enhanced kelp, so more thermotolerant species, and for reduced nutrient environments, which can also help to future-proof the system.
Are there any regulatory implications to this?
Yeah, they are, and that's why we're piloting in Baja California alongside fishing communities. We have a special socio-ecological system called cooperatives, and they are organized and they manage their own fishing areas. They create marine protected areas, they manage their fishers, their quotas, their security, and their reforestation efforts. In Baja California, we're the highest growing pacing company doing this. We're the only one. And it's a great opportunity to create a model and replicate it in other regions of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's give it up for all of our amazing Blackstone LaunchPad student teams. Thanks so much to the students, our Blackstone LaunchPad audience, and our judges. And reminder that the winners will be announced tomorrow morning at 11:45 on the Startup Grind main stage, the big one. So I hope everyone has a great rest of the day, and thank you.